You got the Peckerwoods. They got the Nazi lowriders. They got the skinheads. They got the Ku Klux Klan. They got the BFG, Bound for Burn. They got AR, Oral, AB, AR, Aaron Royal, AK, Aaron Kings. This, that. But then everybody
So
says,
what is all of that? Like what is the breakdown to that?
it's like when you hear somebody say, oh, I'm AR. AR, that's Aaron Royal. AR is Aaron. AR is Aaron Royal.
Mm,
All right, boom. That's something somebody started. It was never supposed to be sanctioned. It was never sanctioned
mm-hmm.
at all, at all. Because when I first moved to Jacksonville, right, everyone, when a lot of people first meet me, they always think I'm boss. And for me, I'm president. Are you boss? This that? I'm like, nah. You know, you're GD. I'm like, nah. And, but when BFG was sanctioned, it got started in North. It's the only white. They say how they put it, white supremacists. At the same time, they put us the whites because we're under ABT. Everybody is a terrorist.
As a terrorist.
They're terrorists. Like when they like say like boom, they you in a car, boom. When it just like when you SRG in the system, you boom. I said when I said I got pulled over, I'm driving right. Boom. When they run my name, boom. It's automatically pops up in the system instantly. SRG level 3, a high security threat group.
Right.
So the first thing you say, oh, this that. So that's why when they tell us right when we got released on parole and all that, you are SRG. When they tell you and when you tell the police stop right, stop. They ask him doing, you let them know right off the gate, hey, I'm SRG in the system. As soon as I hey, what's your name? And he said, hey, it's going to red. You tell them it's going you red flag in the system. It's SRG is that, but you ain't gonna give them no problem right then. Then you let them know right off the gate. But then if you're SRG in the system, boom, and you don't say nothing when the law people stop you, it's automatically they ain't supposed to pull you out the car without two officers and at gunpoint. I don't care if you have kids in your car or whatever. They pull you out at gunpoint because it pops up in the system. But if you go ahead and let them know, hey, I'm SRG level 3, this that level 3, that's a high level, highest level you can get. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you because I want to learn a little bit more about what you what y'all get into because we neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
We have to live amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we must know what y'all rules is because I'm gonna give you what our rules is,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna have a heart to heart. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna do it in a respectable manner.
Yeah.
You my guy. Um, how do you feel about? Let me ask you a question. What is your nationality?
Irish, Indian,
Indian,
Irish Indian.
Irish Indian.
Mm-hmm. Spanish, Irish and Spanish. At the same time, boom. And the other thing, everybody says, "Oh, your skin's white. You're a white person." At the
Right,
same time, everybody's mixed with everything. Most don't know when that history goes back, and that bloodline goes back.
right,
That bloodline goes back way back to this. Well, if you go back to your ancestors, there's no telling how far your bloodline goes back. That bloodline goes back. There's no telling how old my whole family's white, this, that, this, that. There's somebody in your family. You know what I'm saying? But then they see, oh, this, that, oh. It's like how our blood oath is red for blood, blacks for our lost brother, blacks for our lost brothers, whites for our skin color. We are a white organization started in North Carolina State Prison called Maury. We must secure the existence of our race for future of white children, but a white Aryan woman must never perish from this earth.
right,
And that means, you know what I'm saying? But then perish because it don't matter in the parish means that a white Aryan woman must never perish because but then our black is talking about for the it could be anybody. For
right.
our lost brothers. It could be black people, white people, Mexican. our lost brothers, whites first encounter.
So
That's like when it says 1488. 1488 stands for we must secure the existence of our race.
so
Our race could be the bloodline. They don't care if you're mixed, black, white, Mexican, this, that. Ain't nobody that's straight white or straight black. There's in the bloodline going back, you're mixed with something in the bloodline.
right.
There ain't nobody that's a straight black person. There ain't it's a straight white person. There ain't it's a straight Chinese person. There when you go back to that ancestors, it's that bloodline is mixed up.
Right. Just like in North Carolina, uh, North Carolina was represented as an engine state. It wasn't what you will see Raleigh, Chapel Hill.
It's like in the prison system, like how they were talking, right? How if the whites wanted to go to war in the prison system with the blacks, we the whites got to go through the Spanish, or say if we want to go to war with with the Bloods, right, or the Crips,
Right.
we want to go to war with the Bloods, we got to go through the Mexicans first, because Mexicans, the Spanish run the prison system. People think, oh, they got different camps and that, but the dangerous prison gangs are labeled, or they say you hear the ABT, the Black and Gorilla family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Boom. And people say, oh, the Black and Gorilla, the Black and Gorilla is that, you know what I'm saying? People like that's um, family, right?
Right.
All right, or then boom, that's it's like they think that's all right. The Black Gorilla before after there's more of that after the Black Gorilla, then they think, oh, the Black Gorilla, they think that's like another brotherhood of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. All right, or I mean the AB. All right,
AB.
AB Aryan Brotherhood of Texas.
So how where do this how did it spread out in North Carolina like that?
Huh?
How did it,
We had to
the supremacy?
all right, because everything has to go through California. All the BFG, all the white supremacists has to get approved through California, through that Aaron brother, that AB,
AB.
AB, Aaron Brotherhood.
Right.
And to do it, if you look on YouTube, the one then Aaron Brotherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just it's not that oh you get in where you fit in this that. The dude that started it, that AB, he was they done you know that all a white dude, but just like Charles Manson.
Right.
Charles Manson came to the air. Charles Manson, he was a killer. People think, oh, Charles Manson was a killer. Charles Manson was a killer. He was a killer. He brainwashed them people with this that. Charles Manson went to the Aryan Brotherhood for protection.
Mm-hmm.
He went because I had a buddy right there in Jacksonville. He was locked up with he was cell in San Quentin prison right next to Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Charles Manson got that swastika between his eyes right there, Charles Manson, before he died and shit there in San Quentin. All right. Charles Manson had it, but he went to the Air Brotherhood of Texas. I mean, ABA came there for protection because everybody wanted to kill him. Is that they turned him down? They turned him down because he, you know what I'm saying, had the shit with the baby and is that how what he was doing? They turned him down, but then they realized he will beat Charles Manson had all them followers.
Right.
All them following girls, and he'll be a money ticket because all them girls want to marry Charles Manson. Be with Charles Manson. They were crazy about Charles Manson, this, that, all them motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Charles Manson went to the Aaron Brothers Texas for protection, and they turned him away to the head Dude says, he'd be a money ticket to our segregation. And he had all them followers. He had all them followers. So they didn't put him down, but they took him under the wings. Charles Manson under the wings because he was a money ticket to the segregation. That they could when they had visitation, the girls that will smuggle weapons, drugs in their pussy and bring it into the prison system. That's the only reason they used Charles Manson. Yet all them bitches was that they said the only way we will keep you safe in prison and make sure the white said make sure you will stay alive or they'll kill you. You will die. You get killed in prison. We will protect you and we will make sure nothing will happen to you. This how they went to war. Aaron Brother went to war with the Black Guerrillas, the MS-13, all that. But he came there for protection because they wouldn't put him down. The one thing we're against: child molesters, rapists. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. That's right off the gate. When you look up about Aaron Brother, they said there's three things. There's four more laws we gotta go by. A child molester, it's by law. A child molester. If you're a child molester, it's a green light on site. A green light on site. Boom. You're a child molester, a rapist, or something like that. That boom. But Charles Manson, he didn't kill nobody. He brainwashed motherfuckers to do shit.
Right. Right.
He brainwashed people to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, he did that, cut that baby. And one of the girl was pregnant, the baby cut the baby out of the girl's stomach to stay. He didn't do it. He asked people to do it for him.
Right. Right.
He didn't do it, and they wanted to kill him for that in prison. But he went to the highest. The ones that run the prison systems are the whites and Mexicans.
Right.
The whites and Mexicans. If we want to go to war with the blacks, we got to go through the Spanish. Then before we go through the Spanish, then the Spanish got to go talk to the Asian. Boom, boom, boom. You can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna go to war with Crips." Is that because they got? I've been what we call everybody when we meet up, they call it church. Church always sit there. Everybody will sit around and this. You don't have nothing to say, but what? Yes, everybody will sit around and all the brothers will get together and we're gonna say, "Oh, there's 20 all of us together. We're all in a cell. If you got a prospect, people say you go to Craven, the process prison, that's a breeding ground for BFG. A breeding ground. I said that's the breeding ground for in North Carolina for the Brotherhood. Craven, the processing prison.
Wow.
It's a breeding ground for BFG.
So BFG is a breeding ground for
Craven. They said it is a breeding ground for that, but at the same time, that's not true because once you get down with the Brotherhood, blood in, blood out. Blood in, blood out. Once you're a brother, you're always a brother. At the same time, when you're not a brother, you go ahead and get your patch took off you, and they go ahead and mold. When your patch has something, they cut your patch, we'll cut your patch off. Okay.
yeah, because
At the same time, when you got your patch cut off, you having that patch cut off, it's over. You don't just put a patch on. They don't just patch you in for no reason.
right.
It's not that your lightning bolts or more. They don't just color you in your bolts. Your bolts got to be colored in for a reason. And if you get your bolts colored in, you can't answer why your bolts are colored in. That means that if somebody asks you what's the 14, the main thing, what's the 1488? If you don't know what your 1488 is, boom. Or when the white is this, people think, oh, yeah, when you got to stay. Our thing is meth. They said the white supremacists is violence, methamphetamine, stabbings, and murders. That's the highest. We're the highest street gang. That's what they got labeled is a terrorist. Is that? That's what the FBI, all that. When boom, as soon as you get put in the system, SRG, boom, boom, boom. Anybody that's level 3, you're a high security threat group. You could be blood crib. Is that? You can still be SRG in the system. But once you're SRG, the only way to knock your level down is to go to a class.
A
A
class.
class in prison. They send you to another camp to knock your level down. To knock your level down to help you knock you down so when the law enforcement stops you, they don't take it as aggressive.
Right.
I'm SRG level 3. That's the highest level you can get. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The highest level. It's like I'm gonna be honest with you, like how I got that there with my bolts on my arm. I got my bolts, both my bolts.
I see
Boom,
it.
my bolts are right there. Boom, boom.
Right.
All right, they're colored on both sides.
Right.
That means I put in work. I put in work. This right here on this one on the right means I put in. That means I put in work. I had to put when I start off. You start off. You got a prospect. You got craving. You can't. You stay there 4 to 6 weeks. Boom. All right. Before you got a process. You cannot get down in 4 to 6 weeks. You're on or you process. You're on the watch list. You know, watch how you move. Then you got cubs. That's what you call a cub. That means you got troopers.
Right.
Troopers. The ones they send to go do shit. You got lieutenants. You got captains. You got corporals. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this, that." You cannot just go do that without going through. It's like how say I got a problem with this blood right here, right? Before I go fuck with his blood, that, and I got beef with him. When I got to go to one of the brothers and say, "Hey, we're on a high rank," and he will go to his say the biggest blood on the block, right? I got to go to the highest ranking one on the block, to the highest ranking blood on the block. It's that I'll let's say like I have a problem with a blood on the block, right? Yeah, because the bloods ain't gonna they ain't gonna fight you fair. They
Right.
don't think they're gonna jump you.
Right.
All right. At the same time, if I had a problem with this time, we're gonna do. We want to squash this, that, or we want to smash the thing. I can't just say, "Hey, I got a problem with this, that," and then it's gonna call a race war. A race war. That one we got a problem with there. We'll go there and fight this blood, this, that, and then that white boy got off on this black boy, or this black boy got off on this white boy. Is that in prison? Before all that happens, it's gonna right out the gate. You get to get, or you'll get killed. You get smashed out.
Right. Right.
Smashed out. I can't start a race war because there's too much shit going. People got too much going on. Just that. Say how you are. Boom. All right. If we're into that, you might see the whites over here, the blacks over here. All of them got their own little circle. And at the same time, everybody comes together. Everybody comes in and says a circle.
It's a
So it's
circle.
a routine circle. It's that. It's that. Oh, how you got boss. All right. Yeah. So you got. I got boss, but then you hear
Boss is what? The Folk Nation, right?
Full Nation. Then you got Full Nation. You got that like Ill Will. Ill Will was boss. Before Ill Will from being boss, he started as Satan disciple. You know what I'm saying? Before he was a high, everybody hear about Ill Will, Ill Will. Ill Will was a real white boy with the dreads, this, that. He ran the boss boys. But then he branched off and started Satan disciple.
Right.
At Satan disciple. My homeboy T Guns. He's Spanish. He guns. He runs Fallsway Tattoo Shop. My right hand man down there in Jackson. I hang out every time I go down there. It's that he's the head dude around the whole round of a Satan disciple. A Satan disciple. At the same time, you see when you see him, he's a whole another set of us. Whole set, and then I got my crew. But we all hang together.
Right.
It's that. But you gotta come together, but then you gotta be agreement too. Sometimes you can't say, "Oh, this that." You can't say how you can't. We already know you can't. Oh, how this person. You can't just say, "Hey, this person's blood." That you can't just say, "Oh, he's blood." This that. We're gonna take him with us. But say like I fuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take you nowhere knowing you're something else and take you somewhere where there'll be a bunch of brothers
Mm-hmm.
and some of us will all get along, but one will have it out for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and then say, oh, it might be all say that there's 10 white people in here, one black person, right? And one person, and all of the brothers, all of them are white, and you're the only black person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how that person has beef with you, they don't think 'cause all of them brothers are all going to sit there and jump you. Nah, it's that. The boom. So then what's that going to do? All these Aryan boys had these white boys jump, crip, boom. That's going to start a race war. Start a race war. That's how all that racist shit. If people think there's too much, and how they say there's too much going on, too much money, and too much shit going on in the world, motherfuckers to act stupid.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
or how much money you got, how much dope you sold, this, that. That ain't shit in life. You only gonna get so far in life. There ain't no, to tell you the truth, the biggest drug dealers in the world, this, that, be honest with you. And that motivation speech I'll be listening to and shit on YouTube. The biggest drug dealers in the world, and you know what I'm saying? There's no successful drug dealer. There's few of them. The ones that been in the game, got out of the game, but there's never always a, you never sell drugs forever. There's no, you cannot sell drugs forever and think nothing's gonna happen. There's no successful drug dealer. I had a buddy, his mom, his dad, they built their whole big old house. My old Joe, on motorcycles, on all cars and shit, right there in the yard, in the shop. Boom. His mom and dad built that whole big ass house. There's eight bedrooms upstairs, downstairs, underground. All this land is that they built it on cocaine. Cocaine. What did they got in the game? Motherfuckers got killed. This, that, and but all this shit, and they got out. It's like you hear about the Johnson County. Johnson County is the head. They say the head capital of the Ku Klux Klan. All right, that's true. Johnson County. When you hear about the Hilltop Mafia, the Hilltop Mafia, where these white boys started shaking a bottle, shaking, making meth, made so much money. The drug enforcement agency was on it. They put 4.5 ounces in the sheriff's mailbox at his house. Said, if you're still looking, we're still cooking. You
Mm-hmm.
know, boom. At the same time, everybody comes together.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people think, oh, this, that, oh, this, that, oh, we don't have him come over because he's a white boy, this, that. At the same time, don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Just because you read a little bit of a book, I don't think you know that book.
Right.
You know, just because you can't read between the lines, don't mean you can't read.
Right.
You know, that's how I see it, man. Like, because one keep 100, I cannot read or write
Right.
right off the gate. But what it says right there on that phone, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot read at all. I don't know what that says.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot read. I said, and then people, oh, you cannot read or write. Oh, what am I? So the people say, oh, you're ignorant. So you call me a nigger. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Because I cannot read or write. But
Right.
one thing, I might not be book smart, but you still have common sense. A long time first thing they need to be like, yeah, but you is that I cannot read or write. That's crazy. Cannot read or write. I cannot write. If you put out piece of paper down, want me to write A, B, C, D, all the alphabet, I cannot write it. I cannot. I can add count my fingers that I can never come on to the reading.
Right.
And what in my book, I got a swastika on my stomach, this, that. I'm ignorant, so I'm a nigger. No,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's how it is, you know. A lot of but then people say, oh, well, you're ignorant, people how you call them. So I'm white. I'm this, that. But then people don't realize anybody could be anything. It's just how people want to, oh, they grow up, oh, well, I grew up in a racist house, oh, this, that. This because my grandpa was a Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Boom. Is that now I'm part of a white supremacist, not because my grandpa. At the same time, you know what I'm saying? I don't fuck black people. At the same time, if I didn't fuck black people, you know what I'm saying? I won't fuck with them. And then it's respect. People think, oh, you know, when you hear about the white, oh, the white is that there, yeah, so yeah, they give a lot of black people a bad name At the same time, they get the white people a bad name too.
Right.
A bad
Right.
name too.
Right.
But right out the gate, this is what somebody how they put it. You know the true facts about the bloodline. About it, just like I'm all lay right here. And boom. And boom. Swastika. Right there, Swastika, 1488.
Mm-hmm.
That means 1488 we must secure the existence of our race for a future of white children. Right? People
Right.
think the way they take it, oh, people will keep the white race going. Same time, everybody just keep the white race. Same time, the other blacks they keep the blacks on that. Some people believe, oh, white should be with whites, black should be black, this that. But if you really go back, nobody's blood there ain't no straight on white person.
Right.
It's like how they tell how much Chinese, Japanese, Asian, white is in your bloodline. If it goes way back to the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my grandpa was the granddad and my grandma adopted Antonio Jenkins. That's my uncle. Jenkins, the biggest blood in Wilmington, right there in Queen Street. My uncle Blau, boom, the biggest blood out there in South Carolina. Boom. What up, cuzzo? What's up? Here we go, Burr. What up, nephew? What's up, dog? That same time he got the symbol on his stomach. You know what I'm saying? He sexual murder. My uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He's black as that damn that TV.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I don't look at him because he's black. Is that he's a nigga? He's a family. It's real family. My grandma adopted two black boys. Two black boys. My grandpa went to the granddad adopted two black boys. We had a house with me. I got a little brother William. He got three. He's 21 years old. Got 3 life sentences.
3 life
3 life
sentences.
sentences. 21 years old.
Damn.
It'll pop up on that if you Google William Toby Smith. He was a white boy, a white, our blood brother. And we had the same mom, same dad, different mom.
Mm-hmm.
He was a white boy. It was the blood. He was down with the bloods. You got him sitting there. All that with everybody all lined up. Sex, money, murder. A white boy. My little brother. He went there and killed a lady, a girl. He got killed. They charged him with murder for killing that girl. The girl was pregnant. She died. The baby died. That's 2 bodies. And then went there and killed her boyfriend. But when he went in there, you know what I mean? He went in there with one of his boyfriend Wilmington. Bam bam. And boom. Bam bam. Went right there. Went up in the house. And my brother dressed as a pizza boy, knocked on the door. As soon as the girl opened the door, pow, he shot her. Boom, she was pregnant. As soon as she opened the door, blew her face off. Pow. Went in there and he went in there. Pow. My dad crossed his stomach. He had it in Spanish. My crazy life. And a barcode across his stomach. My dad ran with Mexicans. And my dad ran with Mexicans. But my grandma adopted these 2 black.
How could you do this? All this been a white guy.
Huh?
How can you do all this being a white guy?
Because that's the people think that race ain't shit. It's just a color's not a thing. I got my Aunt Teresa, my dad's sister. She had all her kids are black.
Mm-hmm.
And she always, I don't know how you got all these black cousins, this, that. And I'm the only one in the family it's a white supremacist. But I could we're all out there in the hood, this, that. Because I'm not gonna come out and disrespect nobody. At the same time, I'm gonna go, at the same time, color's not a thing. People think because there's that this got going, he got this on his stomach. All right. The Nazi symbol, Hitler invented the Nazi symbol, but he turned it around.
What you mean by he turned it around?
All right. The real Nazi symbol, one way. Hitler flipped it around. It's like how Hitler is the one invented methamphetamine. Hitler, because he wanted super soldiers. That's why we lost the war against the fucking Nazis. The Americans lost this. Hitler made super soldiers. And he wanted soldiers. It didn't sleep. It didn't eat. It did nothing. So they stayed up so long. They weren't doing methamphetamine. They were doing amphetamine, shooting them up, shooting them with them soldiers in Vietnam and all that shit with methamphetamine. And that's why the people, what they call the ones who crashed the kamikazes. They said every kamikaze ones who crashed their little airplanes in World War II, crashed their airplanes into the boats to make the crash the kamikazes. They were high on methamphetamine.
Whoa.
They made, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was they made super soldiers, and that's why the is that Hitler invented methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine.
He invented the amphetamine. He was a scientist.
Now, I want.
HIV made. That's why they lost the war. You know what I'm saying? Because he made soldiers. It wouldn't sleep. It wouldn't eat. This that. Imagine you've been up on meth for 3 weeks straight. After that, you start. The government don't like methamphetamine because it opens your third eye. It opens the third. People don't really know about the third eye. You know what I'm saying? Illuminati is that methamphetamine opens your third eye. If you really, people say, oh, we get out there, this, that. When you get on that meth, it opens that third eye. That's why the government does not like methamphetamine. It opens your third eye to the system. That's why the government is so bad against meth. People think that's why they call it the devil's drug. Not that they call it the devil's drug because it makes you look this, that. You don't eat, you don't this, that, you get super skinny, this, that. You won't have an appetite because you're not building smoking straight chemicals. Chemicals that is made in a lab. Meth, you got Drano, liquid fire, lithium strips off the batteries, liquid fire, lye. You put lye on a person, a dead body in the morning. You kill somebody at night, put them in a hole, don't lie in the morning, the body be ate apart.
Damn.
All right, liquid fire. That's stuff you put on your skin. It eats right, it eats off your skin. Boom, you got salt, cold packs, the shit like inside the ice packs, you crack, crack, and then it's hot, cold. Boom. Yeah, that's people say meth's a white person's drug. It's like it makes everybody act different. A black person, a lot of different. Everybody I know, there's a lot of black people I know who do meth. They act a little different. It's that everybody, people snort it, shoot it, smoke it, snort it, roof it, all that shit. They call it the devil's drug. To tell you the truth, because government like that opens your third eye. It opens, it makes you think.
So you telling me that meth is a gateway
To the other side.
to the other
To
side?
the portal.
That's why government don't really.
It's like if you Google if you type in Illuminati backwards on Google, boom, they'll pop up a government website. Hell no, boom, and it was talking about the methamphetamine. If you say you type in about type on Illuminati, if you spell it backwards, Google, it'll automatically send you to a government website, a government site, and that's part a lot of people don't know about that because everybody has a social security number, right?
Right.
Before, all right, but they sell your social security number's been sold before you were even born to the banks. The banks. Because the water, there's a canal. The canal, I'm trying to say how fucking we should put it on YouTube how it says it.
We definitely can do that.
All right.
Right.
It's this white dude that talks about how there's you think you got a social security number, but there's you got more than your social security number. How everybody's worth how you're worth millions of dollars through your other social security number. You have a social security number before you have a social security number. Your social security number sold to the bank before your social security number was a water canal. The canal goes through the woman who did that to the docks on the ocean. The taxes, boom, boom, boom. It's true. You pull up everybody. The real meaning of selling your social security number. How to see it do it. the root canal of your social security number through the system.
Oh yeah, Beaver. Salute to my boy Beaver in the building, man. Yeah, yeah. We cracking the code, and I'm gonna give the black insight on the other end of it. Yeah. Mhm. Let me see. Matter of fact, I just typed it. Oh,
It's about how at your bank when your social security number gets sold before, and so this white guy pops up on YouTube that will talk about how to make multiple millions and millions of dollars from your social security number.
like like the movie.
Because you have kind of how to talk about the root canal. The root canal is the canal of the canal is where the docking from the boats. They bring all the money. All the money goes to the ocean from the shipping containers. Is that how much money goes through? People think in the air. It's that. It's that. How much money is on them boats with people's social security shit? All money, all that shit. How much taxes? How much money goes across the ocean in them shipping containers? It's that
right,
taxes. It's that before you're so you can how you're smart. Yeah, if you find out about that, how your social security number is already you have a check waiting for you for social security already. But your social security number has been sold already to a bank. They take out a loan on you, and you don't even know about it.
right,
A lot of people don't know about it. It's just a dude, the old black you put me onto it in prison a long time ago. Your social security number is sold to the gov. The government sells your social security number to the banks, and the banks take out taxes on your social security number, and then it goes to the canal, the root canal. The root canal is still a woman's system. How it goes to how it talks about how birth through the root system, through the water canals, is that the water canal is coming the canals to the system of this your tax numbers going. How you state your how you be a millionaire and don't even know about it, and how because your social security number is sold to a bank already before you don't even know about it.
right,
The bank, how many people oh they get your social security number, this that you have a social security on your birth certificate. It has age on there when you get born. When you're born, boom. But then there's another social security number.
right,
There's three social security numbers. A lot of people don't know about. You got just one to be on payroll, the old social security. That is just that. That's your regular social security number. But then you have a number in the bank that you don't even know about. Social security number has already been typed in, and your shit's been sold to a bank, and they took out a loan and all that shit already. You don't even know about it. It's that to keep the system going.
keep the system going.
Keep the system going. A lot of people don't know about the shit, man. This is right. This is all on YouTube. This white guy's little quick videos and shit. How they talk. He talks about it. How your social security number has already been sold. As soon as you're born, it says well, when you sign that birth certificate, your family signs that birth certificate. Yeah, you're signing a loan with the bank right then. When you sign a birth certificate, your name is getting signed. You're signing your social security. You're signing your social security number to the multi-million-dollar fucking system to the bank, and they won't sell your social security number and don't even know about it.
Right. And see, this is the shit that don't be spoke about
Mhm.
in America. Of course, we
And
already
it's
know
just
that.
little short little videos on YouTube that will tell you about it. Like you just got you scroll and it will tell you about how your social security number has been sold, and you don't even know about it. You don't just have one social security number. You don't. When you have that, when you yeah, you have a whole nother social security number that's been sold you don't even know about, and people don't. I went to the dude's talking about it and how he made multiple $1 million and helped people make multiple millions of dollars when they find out about you have a everybody belongs to the bank. And it's through the bank, the bankers. But he says the bankers. Your social security number has been sold, put the tax in taxes. They
Mm.
sell your social security number before you're even born. When you sign that, a birth, whoever signs your birth certificate or whoever does, the state or whatever, they sell your real social security number to the bank. Everybody is labeled with a social security number for a reason, for money. Keep flowing.
So basically, when you make a child into this world and you sign off on that birth certificate, you
Really?
sold off.
You really everybody belongs to the bank system. The bank shit belongs to a money operation. Not that like that's why it sits there and read that the fucking I wish you got YouTube on that thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pull it over and share. See if I can pull it. And as you see it, you'll like how they were just talking about that little video thing. So you're all talking. If you put that something like that and you just really study it, that shit is wild, bro. And a lot of people don't realize they have. It's this old white guy. It's like this is I want to talk about when your social security number is sold. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like little quick little videos. The short vids. I see how to pull it up. You know how you watch not like I'll see how you pull it. Like when your social security number is sold.
But which I did a show about 3 years ago about the Social Security being sold off. So what you saying right now is actually some shit that you re-sparking some shit that I already been talking about.
But the way this white guy is talking, he's sitting there.
You talking about the dude with the numbers, right? The G.
He has glasses. He has big old glasses on.
Glasses and shit.
Yeah, everybody belongs to a bank. Everybody's social security, but everybody's social security number is owned by a banker.
Right.
And this before when you how we talked about the money canal is that how the money canal is the root canal of a woman. So how you flow through a woman, a birth is brought to the body through the root canal. I mean, I'm talking about a little baby. At the same time, your social security number got to come from somewhere from that person, but then everything comes through the system of all the boats. That's a root canal of a money system.
Mm-hmm.
When they sell, so a lot of people don't know about people selling. You have a social security number that's already been sold. You, me, and everybody got a social security number that's been sold.
Right.
And so before soon, it will tell you they have if you watch, they're real short, they're real super short videos. But it's this white guy. He'll tell you about. Yeah, I bet you'll probably pull it if you just type in like when your social security number has been sold to the water. I'm trying to how to think how to put it. But it's this little short little videos you watch and how much money is made in the system off your social security number that people are living on. Everybody has a number that's been sold. There's not just one social security number you have.
Right.
You have a social security number, but when you sign that birth certificate, you're signing a loan with the bank. A banker's loan. A social security number. Everybody's social security number has a loan on it.
Right.
Through the government.
So, in all actuality, you don't really need
a social security number. You need one. People think you need one. At the same time, that social security number has already been used and made multiple of trillions of dollars already off one person's social security number.
Wow.
How he just keeps you know what I'm saying? This is how before like when your mom and dad were born, boom, and they people their birth certificate. That's how like the dude is talking to old guys, old video. It says old. When he's talking about the root canal is the system. The root canal, then the canal is a gate of shipping containers or boats going across the U.S. All the money transaction. But it's if you really just once you figure out a way to pull it up, and it'll pop up. This is a little short. Yes, you talking to that thing pulled up?
And what we pulling up?
That about it's like a little short little bit. It'll tell you about your social security number is what
Put it in. What,
when your social security number is sold to the government. It will be like
any one of the video, any one of those you can put in.
it will be like this old ass white guy. But once you see how like boom, but it's not. Let's see. It's like the true fact of your social security number being sold to the water canal system. Donna? Yep.
I remember even tapping into bank accounts and everything off my social security. And I remember it was 6 accounts in my name. I called the Federal Reserve Bank. I'm like, why do I got an account with $6 million in it that I've never opened myself? How did you get access to your account? That's when they really started messing with us. That's not the question. Why do I got an account with $6 million? Why do I got a Bank of America account with $20 million in it and I never had a Bank of America account? Who the hell is using the money? Then you start tracking down your social security number, putting a zero in front of it, which makes it a 10-digit bank account number. And you look at your birth certificate number, which is your birth number. So now you're like, well, I got a bank with all this money, and then you start realizing what Social Security is, and then basically you working for free, and then they're paying you little bitty percentages or fractions out of the account that you already had all this money built in because you're a natural born, law-abiding citizen of the Creator and not of man. So it's different types of tiers you operate on. You can operate as an individualist in the private as your natural born body self, or you can operate as a corporation, which is the name your mother and father gave you right before they sold you over. You got a Social Security number, and then sold your soul by taking the soul of your feet, putting it under some stamps, and then putting it on top of the birth certificate and selling you over to the corporation that we call the United States of America, which is not a country, it's a business, it's a corporation and an agency.
Oh
You've
wow!
been tapping into bank accounts and everything off
Oh,
my
wow.
Social Security. And I remember
Now, you want to elaborate on that?
Let me show you one more.
Go ahead.
There's
Talk your shit.
There.
Yeah.
All right, but then there's way more to it. There's this white guy, not the Trump shit, and see if it will pull it.
What is it? Geometry?
I'm not. How much money? How that white dude was just talking about like
Hey, let me tell you something that debt collectors don't want you to
That's
know
not it.
about. You know when you get that letter, that 30-day letter saying that you owe a debt and that we
how he was putting it. It's like
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare
See
plans
how
change
all
from
the
one
banks
year
are
to the
open up?
next. And this year, it's important to compare all your health and prescription drug options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare plans now at
That's true
Medicare.gov.
fact. Man.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of
And
Health
if you
and
really
Human
start looking
Services.
at it, everybody's really multi-millionaires and all that. They don't even know it. The whole white dude put me onto it.
Is your social security number secretly tied to a trust account
Yep.
worth millions?
Yeah.
And if so, can you use that account to discharge debt? This is what the straw man theory claims, and today I'm going to be breaking it down in plain English. All right. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how this concept connects to the U.S. financial system, debt discharge, debt collection, and why so many people believe it's the key to financial freedom. So, first thing I want to dive into, man, thank you guys for watching this video. If you're brand new, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I post daily content. All right. Also, at the same time, you guys went crazy on my last video. So if you haven't seen it already, go ahead and click the link right there and tap into my last video where I talked about 1099 and how to be able to use that to discharge your debt. Okay, so let's dive into it. All right,
That was mine.
what is the straw man theory? All right, straw man theory is the belief that when you are born, the government creates a second version of you, a fictional legal entity, using your name in all caps. This straw man is tied to your birth certificate, social security number, and your legal identity. According to this theory, this entity is traded and used as collateral on the international markets. You, the flesh and blood human, are supposedly separate from that entity, and that's where things get interesting. All right. This theory, proponents of this theory believe that a secret trust or an account is created in your straw man's name, and that you can access this account or use it to discharge debt if you know how to separate yourself from the straw man. I'm about to be diving into this. So if you haven't already, like the video, because we're about to be talking about this, we're going to call it a theory. All right. And if you guys are understanding me and we're on the same frequency, then you know what I mean and why I'm calling it a theory. Okay. Essentially, when you look back, when you're born, there is a straw man created in your name. Okay. And when you look at your name being the all caps, it is an entity. You dig me? Now, before I start to get deep down into that, let's talk about the facts behind the theory and some truth hidden beneath the surface. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that your birth certificate is indeed a financial instrument. Dig me? It is recorded and tracked. And when you look at the definition of certificate, a certificate is almost like a receipt, almost like a title. All right. Your SSN is issued by the Treasury and is used in connection with credit, taxes, and federal contracts. Also, number 3, the U.S. is a corporation-based system where legal fictions like trust and corporations hold weight. But here's the catch. There's no public record of a secret account with millions in your name. Okay? The Federal Reserve or the U.S. Treasury won't confirm this type of account existence for public use, and the attempts to access these alleged accounts often result in fraud charges or being labeled as a sovereign citizen, which the courts do not support. Okay? So the aspect of it's okay for the court to not support this. It's okay for them to not confirm this, but there's too much evidence that even regardless, right? We can have this sovereign citizen conversation, but regardless, there are still aspects of this that confirms and doesn't deny the fact that debt can be discharged. Okay? So what does this have to do with debt discharge? So things get real. Even if you can't tap into a secret trust, the concepts behind the strawman theory can still help you understand how debt and identity are manipulated. Okay. Now, the name in all caps, all right, on your bills and court filings, that is not an accident. All right. When you look at your LLC and when it's formed or formed, okay, it is in all caps. All right. Any corporate entity is in all caps. So that essentially confirms that your all caps name is a commercial entity. All right. Other thing I want to tap into is how your signature creates value. So when you sign for a loan, you are creating credit. Where is that credit coming from? How is my signature used as a financial instrument by the bank? The bank should have more money than me, right? The bank should hold more weight and have more power than me, right? Okay. Now, the bank also uses your identity and paperwork to monetize the obligation. So when you sign an agreement, it says that you have an obligation for something, but under 18 U.S.C. 8, it says that the United States is pretty much obligated to everything. All the obligations are of the United States. Dig me? Just like a trust or a bond. All right. You understand, back in the day when they used to give us bonds, savings bonds, you can actually monetize that and get money from that. Okay. So while there's some end of the spectrum where this may just be a theory. Okay. The fact that there's an SSN trust account All right. But you can also argue that there's people who have tapped in and used that money from the trust. Okay. So while there may not be a secret SSN account to tap into, that inherently a lot of people think that they're just going to go fight for this money in a trust account, understanding that you are the creditor and that your signature holds value is the essential piece of understanding this whole economic mechanism. Okay. Because it's obvious when you look at modern money mechanics that your signature holds value. Okay. If your signature holds value, then, forget the aspect of I want to get money, millions of dollars from my SSN trust account. Just understand how to utilize your signature. That's the key. If I told you that your signature can create a limited amount of credit, regardless if you was sovereign or if you tapped into a SSN account or proved to them that there was an SSN account, would you be stuck on the SSN secret account as much as you are? You tapped into this video thinking I was just going to tell you how to get millions of dollars from your SSN. And I'm not saying that's not to be true. I'm not saying that hasn't happened before, but it's not what you think it is. Okay. If you was hoping that the SSN was going to be, this SSN trust is going to be easily and readily available to you if you fight for it, I promise you that is not how it works. Okay. It's a credit system that all you need to do is sign for it and it will be created. No need to tap into a trust. Your signature is already monetizable. Your signature is the gold. You can create a promissory note, and that is a negotiable instrument that creates the credit. This now becomes proof of income for the bank. If you understand that fact, you wouldn't go looking for an SSN trust. Okay. So this is where the UCC law, consumer protection, and debt discharge tactics come into play, because people want to understand this aspect and be free so that they can discharge debt. But what if I told you that you didn't need to be sovereign? You didn't need to have an SSN. You didn't need to tap into an SSN account in order to discharge debt. What if I told you that all of that is just a pipe dream, thinking that you're going to get your SSN someday when you become free, and that's just going to make you get millions of dollars. Okay. People will tell you that you need your SSN or you need to be sovereign in order to discharge debt. Now, I won't tell you that doing those steps and setting up certain things won't inherently make you stronger in consumer law protection, but it's not even that important. Don't get sold on the fact of, and not to knock anybody's hustle, but don't get sold on the fact of spending thousands of dollars to go sovereign so that you can discharge debt. If you know the law, if you understand the law, you can actually communicate your sovereignty or communicate your separation from your straw man legally. It's written in the law. Okay. It doesn't change the fact that you can file a UCC1 and things of that nature to be able to take ownership over your straw man or publicly separate yourself from the straw man. But the aspect of doing that, people think that they're going to get millions of dollars for doing that, but that won't happen. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys how to use this concept legally. I'm going to bring more of an understanding to this concept so that you aren't going and looking for a pipe dream of you tapping into an SSN and getting millions of dollars as soon as you become private. That's not the case. Okay, this is a much needed video because a lot of us get stuck on trying to be private. I get phone calls from people who say, oh, I want to be more private, just for me to tell them that that's not even going to bring you closer to financial freedom in the way you think it is. I end up telling them, hey, no, the way that you're going to get closer to financial freedom, if you're trying to do it this way, and the quicker and easier way is to fix your credit, remove those negative items on your credit. And none of that even requires you to be sovereign. You can communicate with the credit bureau about information on your credit report, and they have to do it. They're not going to ask you to be sovereign. So I'm going to put it out there that you don't need to claim to be a sovereign citizen or access a secret trust in order to discharge debt, in order to get the credit, in order to get the millions of dollars. because there are business owners and entities that access millions of dollars in funding, and they are not considered sovereign. You dig me? They created a business and used their credit as collateral in order to get business funding. Then they built the revenue in the business, and when they built the revenue in the business, they ended up getting more money. But someone says, oh, I don't want to do that. What would be the point of you getting millions in a trust if you're not trying to actually get assets? Oh, so I can just live free. Well, you really can live free. Just live off the grid. But we won't tap into that. So let's just talk about the legal premise of some of the laws that will allow you to discharge debt regardless of the sovereign citizenship without the correcting your status, without trying to access the SSN secret trust. Because when I teach you guys these concepts, none of them start with make sure you are a sovereign citizen. But before we do that, let me tap into a couple of things that the historic and legal background when it comes to the straw man. First things first, we'll come back to this, but let's just go straight to House Joint Resolution 192. Okay, you can literally Google House Joint Resolution 192 online, and it's going to break down exactly when Congress, almost 100 years ago, eliminated the gold standard and essentially created this credit system. Okay, because when they went bankrupt in 1933, they enacted House Joint Resolution 192 that suspended the gold standard and abrogated the gold clause. Most of us don't know that gold was the original money, and before everything, and this is also expressed in modern money mechanics, but before you was actually getting credit, before you was actually, using bank accounts, well, in the way that we use it now, we was actually exchanging gold for paper notes, okay? And then it got to a point where people didn't want to carry around their ingots, so they started to exchange these notes that the banks gave them and gave other people the notes, and they would take those notes and exchange those notes for gold in the bank. Well, what happened was when they took away the gold and confiscated the gold and suspended the gold standard, you couldn't actually get gold, okay? So if you wasn't able to get gold, all right, what are we paying with at this point in time? And that's when they developed Federal Reserve notes. That's when they developed a fractional reserve system. But the main premise of House Joint Resolution 192 is essentially saying that this resolution declared that any obligation requiring payment in gold or a particular kind of coin or currency or an in amount in money policy, and every obligation herefore or hereinafter incurred shall be discharged upon payment dollar for dollar in any coin or currency which at the time of payment is legal tender for public and private debts. So a lot of times people will look at this and they don't know how to communicate this, and they think that when they become sovereign, that your sovereignty is going to keep you from having to communicate this. But that is not true. You can also go to Trading with the Enemy Act of 1933, which goes hand in hand with House Joint Resolution 192, which is 12 U.S.C. 95A, which breaks down how all debts have, all obligations have been acquitted. Okay, so essentially this paved the way for a credit-based currency because there was no gold. Okay, so at this point, this started to lead the U.S. government to use citizens as collateral in the public debt system. So in 1933, the government declared bankruptcy and shifted from gold to credit. Dig me? And that's when your identity, birth certificate, SSN started playing a bigger role in the financial system than anyone has ever told you. All right. So then we dive into the CUSIP number because, the CUSIP number is also a confirmation of certain things like that your birth certificate is a financial instrument. Okay, because it says a CUSIP number is a unique 9-digit identification number assigned to financial securities in the United States and in Canada. Okay, so aspect of it being a financial security confirms that the CUSIP number is essentially a account number. Okay, that only gets tied to something that is worth financial value. All right, so another thing we want to tap into is when we look up bills, okay? Let's see if we look up bills. Okay, not the Buffalo Bills, utility bills. All right, let's see if we pull this up. Typically on a utility bill, let me move this down. On a utility bill, it looks a little bit like this. Hold on. Let's open this up much bigger. Okay, this is not what we want. So I just found this random bill template online. None of this is not real people. But ultimately, most of us look at our bill statement, and our bill statement looks a little bit like this, okay, where our name is in all caps, you dig me, our address, and things in that nature. And the whole point of me bringing this up is because when you look at a business entity, you got to ask yourself, why is my name in all caps on every single document, okay? On bills, licenses, legal forms, because, that's not really a mistake, okay? That's a legal fiction, the straw man being addressed in commerce. And the aspect of this is not to the fact that you will get out of having an all caps name on these legal forms. It's just that when you go and you start to represent yourself using these legal forms, you're going to go and say, hey, well, that is not me. That is my legal fiction. Okay. So now we kind of seen this. Let me tie it back to the premise of consumer law and how to essentially utilize this to your benefit. Okay. The proper way. All right. The legal process behind it. Okay. Because ultimately you can go in with a sovereign citizen argument, but just know that it's a much harder argument trying to argue your sovereign status in a way that, it can work, but not just for its average person who has who doesn't know everything I'm about to talk about right now. Okay. So let's dive into the aspect of tender of payment. Okay. Or as a matter of fact, let's go straight to a negotiable instrument. Okay. Now, a negotiable instrument means an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money with or without interest or other charges described in the promise or order if it is payable to the bearer or payable on demand, such and such. Instrument means a negotiable instrument, order, promise or order, check. Instrument is a promise. Okay. Check means a draft, which also falls under the aspect of an instrument, okay? But notice you're seeing a lot of promise, all right? If it is a promise, then there is an aspect of promises. It's not an aspect of, anything else other than that, all right? So then we dive into the definition of a tender. A tender is to unconditionally offer money or performance to meet an obligation. There we go again. Okay, it's an offer, okay, unconditional offer of money or performance to meet an obligation. Doesn't say the dollar, because most of us don't know that the Federal Reserve note is a unconditional offer of money or performance. Most people don't know that a Federal Reserve note is an IOU because that was something that was borrowed by the Federal Reserve. And if the Federal Reserve, if they was actually giving us those IOU dollars, which they do not, they deposit into our account, which is an unpaid balance, then essentially they are also offering money. Okay, they're not giving us money, they're offering it. Okay, it's two different things. It never says give us money. Okay, then we dive into, let's just look at the definition of a promissory note, which is essentially what they call your loan agreement. Your loan agreement is a written, legally binding agreement where one party or borrower promises to repay a specific amount of money to another party under agreed upon terms. Okay, now let's go to 3-603. When you start to use a tender of payment, okay, it says if a tender of payment of an obligation to pay an instrument is made to a person entitled to enforce the instrument and the tender is refused, there is discharge to the extent of the amount of tender of the obligation of the endorser or the accommodation party having the right of recourse with respect to the obligation to which the tender relates. So ultimately, when you are discharging, none of this says that you have to be sovereign. You can literally be a corporation versus another corporation, and you can challenge them on these same exact things. It doesn't say that you have to be sovereign in order to create a negotiable instrument or a promise to pay. It also says you don't have to be sovereign in order to enforce it. You just have to know the legal premise behind doing it. Okay. And when it comes to the coupon remittance is also a security, is also a negotiable instrument, is also a type of tender. Okay. So if you do this, you file a tender of payment, okay, and they didn't read and they refuse it, then there's discharge without you being a sovereign citizen. Okay. So if you create a negotiable instrument that's backed by your signature, that has now become a financial asset to them, no matter how you spin it, no matter if you're sovereign or not. Okay. If you have a legal fiction, okay, within the United States, and you are making these and you are creating credit with your signature, then that alone is already written in the law. Okay. So let's say you do all of this. All right. They have under the presentment C3-501. When you make a demand, okay, essentially they fall under a contract to essentially write back to you. Okay. And it is effective when the demand for payment or acceptance is received. All right. Long story short, it's already accepted until that person comes back and says, oh, it's refused. Okay. If they don't say anything, then you will assume they accepted it. But if they refused it, then we dive into the tender of payment, which it says that if the tender is refused, there is discharge. Thing is, we want to send our negotiable instrument in presentment form. We want to present our negotiable instrument so that it can get refused, so that it can get discharged. If you guys are moving in honor, then it will be nothing for you to worry about. Okay? Then we dive into the definition of the term credit. Okay? The term credit means the right granted by a creditor to a debtor to defer payment of debt, to incur debt and defers payment. But let's just talk about the aspect of the legal premise of the straw man fact as well, okay? Because it says that the term organization means a corporation, okay? And it says the term person means a natural person, which is me, or an organization. So we know that living skin is a natural person. We know that. But you got to ask yourself, what is the organization aspect of a person? Okay, Bank of America can't be either or. Corporate entity can't be either or. All right. So then it says the term creditor refers to only a person, keyword person, who both regularly extends, whether in connection with loans, sales of property, services, or otherwise consumer credit, which is payable by agreement in more than 4 installments for which the payment of a finance charge is or may be required. Okay. So the aspect of saying that a creditor refers only to a person is another fact that proves that you are the one creating, who you are the actual creditor, you're the original creditor. So if you're the original creditor, now it gives them the burden of proof to prove that you aren't the creditor. Okay, and that they are the person, that they are a natural person or an organization. All right, so then we dive into 15 U.S.C. 1692G, which dives into the validation of debt. And I can go through this, but ultimately, long story short, you can challenge them and ask them to provide a proof of claim that there is a debt to be owed. Okay, on these premises, when you start to ask them these things and you start to challenge them on these things without being a sovereign citizen, they must provide it. You don't have to be a sovereign citizen for them to provide information based off the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act that will determine whether they loaned the money to you, whether they are the holder in due course. This is when we dive in 15 UCC 3-305, okay, where essentially they will have to prove that they are the holder in due course, that they have legal standing to collect on a debt. So essentially, it's not about you being sovereign, but when you act as the real party of interest instead of the straw man, you flip the script and you take the power back in your favor, regardless if you put out a public notice that you're a sovereign citizen or not. If you put a public notice out there that you are that you have real interest in whatever the asset or the collateral is, or the credit and things in that nature, then actually they have to honor that. Regardless if you're a sovereign citizen, regardless if you access the trust, regardless if you know how to tap into the SSN money, this, that, and the third, because we know the SSN money is credit, and there would be no way for you to sign for something and get unlimited amount of money if you position yourself properly, if that wasn't the case. And it doesn't even matter if it was an SSN account because the money would just be created out of thin air anyways. Okay. So how do we kind of just understand this? And I hope you guys understand me when I tap into you guys about this. All right. At the end of the day, your entity is more powerful than you have been told. Okay. Whether there is a secret trust out there or not, your understanding on how debt and contracts work is the real weapon. All right. Because you can know how to be sovereign, or you can know these concepts or legal theories, but if you don't know the actual how debt and how contracts works and how to enforce contracts, how to lock them in a contract, how to have them, how knowing what a dishonor is, knowing how to have them default on a contract, just like they do you, you will be in a position where you will, no matter what, lose against the fraudulent banking system, the court systems. Okay, they're going to always work against you. Okay, now, not to downplay the aspect of tapping into your sovereignty. That's something, by all means, it'll take time, effort, and sometimes there are people out here charging you thousands of dollars to set up these documents. But I'll be the one to tell you that this is not something that you have to spend thousands of dollars for to do. Okay, learn the law, understand it, and when you learn and understand the law to an extent, then you'll know how to communicate your sovereignty or your position, or the fact that you're not your straw man, that you're representing your straw man. You can communicate these things without putting out a public notice. Not denying the fact that you can be able to get certain things, do not detain and things of that nature if you put out that public notice. But if you don't know how contracts work, you don't know that you have to present this information to all those parties involved, and you have to get a type of response from those parties. And if you don't get a response from those parties, then you know that that was accepted. A lot of people do this stuff and they say, well, nothing happened. Well, what do you expect? If you understand the law, then if nothing happens, you've already won. If somebody ignores your presentment, you already won. You know that they have nothing to say. Think about it. When somebody sends you a debt and you don't respond, you have defaulted. Think about it. You already know you lost when you couldn't respond back to that debt collector. So what do you think that they are thinking when you send them something and they do not respond? Oh, shoot, this person is the real deal. Okay, now that we kind of just got to the end of this video, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tapping into the
Well, I didn't interject on that.
Wow, man. It's great. It's organ. Your social security number is an organization.
Right.
Organization.
Well,
Before your students do this, social security is. You gotta know how to tap into it. That's wild, isn't it?
well, that could be considered as a wild plan.
But there's other ones that will sit there and tell you way more about into it than I said. We're going to show you something one more day. Well, it's on the feet.
All right. So, with that being said, it go back to where we started out at. Do we sell out to the people,
We're already sold to it.
or we already sold to
We're
them?
already sold. We're already sold before we even knew it. Before that number was already, before we signed that paper, we were already sold. That number was already printed out for us to sign. We already signed it. That number was already printed out. They don't just print that number for you to sign. That number was already sold before you sign it. I think that's true. That you know what I'm saying? How you go by like the old black dude told me that shit in prison a long time ago. Old ass black dude. Before you even have a social security number, is sold. And when you're born, you get a social security number. That number has already been printed and sold multiple millions of times.
That being said, man,
If that's the old somebody got my social security name is that, just as somebody been had your social number. The organization's been had your number before. You had your social security number, somebody else already had it before you had it. So it's a circle,
It's a circle.
a repeat system.
Mhm.
It's a complete wheel going around and around and around. A money organization.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna get back to Calico, man. Calico, you gotta respond, man. Like we on the point. Like I sat down, I brought my guy in, and we got to some real facts today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let them know if your favorite cousin was alive. Oh, by the way, the guy that was speaking with me and we was doing the back and forth thing, he's a white guy. To all my viewers, he's a white guy. We're just gonna leave it there. We're not gonna put no names out there, nothing like that. Trades don't never reveal his sources. But you got it here. You heard it here first. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let them know your cousin was alive. That was interesting.
That's back there, right?